Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 20 and I am Khoirotusyarifah as the first speaker and my partner Habifah Yuliani and Ikhtifa Aulia Khoir. In this video, we are going to explain our understanding about cohesion in English as the material in the third week. Cohesion in English is concerned with relatively neglected part of the linguistic system, its resources for text construction, the range of meanings that are specifically associated with relating what is being spoken or written to its semantic environment. A principal component of these resources is cohesion. The concept of cohesion, according to Halliday and Hassan, 1976, is a semantic one. It deals with the relation of meaning within any text. It occurs where the interpretation of some element in the discourse is dependent on that of another, and thus a relation of cohesion is set up. The major function of cohesion is text formation. As defined, text is a unified whole of linguistic items. This unity of text as a semantic whole is source for the concept of cohesion. So first we will explore the concept of the text. Text in linguistics refers to any passage, spoken written, of whatever length that forms a unified whole. Text is not consist of sentence, but it is realized by sentence or encoded in sentences. In this case, not all forms of writing can be said to be text, because not all texts have a purpose and meaning. Text doesn't have to be in the form of paragraph, but text can be in the form of sentences or words. Even so, the sentences and words have meaning. There are certain objective factors involved that constitute a text. There are texture, ties, and cohesion. Texture. What is texture? Texture is the basic for unity and semantic interdependence within text. It derives this texture from the fact that it functions as a unity with respect to its environment. Halliday and Hassan. Texture is that feature of text which made it a unified whole. According to the concise Oxford Dictionary of Linguistics by Mateo, cohesion and coherence are sources which create texture. Crystal adds informativeness to cohesion and coherence. For example, Woz and Khoir seek cooking apples. Put them into a fireproof dish. Here, them referring back to seek cooking apples to create cohesion between the two sentences. Here we make a presupposition about the relationship between them and seek cooking apples. But it is not enough only to make a presupposition, rather that presupposition must be satisfied to create texture, as shown in the example. These two items are co-referential, and this co-referentiality creates texture. Here are 5 cohesive devices to create texture. The first is referent. The referent of the us and we refer to items within the same text. It is called a doparic referent. When a referring expression links with another referring expression within the code text, we say that it is cohesive with the previous mention of the referent in the text. This is part of what is known as grammatical cohesion. Second is substitution. Substitution holds the text together and avoids repetition. For example, a green one replaces a green box. The one substitutes the box. Third, ellipsis. Just like substitution, ellipsis avoids repetition and depends on the hearer or readers being able to retrieve the missing words from the surrounding context. The fourth is conjunction, and the last one is lexical cohesion, includes repetition, synonyms, superordinates, and general words. Ties. The term refers to a single instance of cohesion. For example, Woz and Khoir cooking apples. Put them into a fireproof dish. Them and she cooking apples show reference as tie. If we take the example beside, cohesive analysis of text is made in terms of tie for a systematic account of its pattern, which are a search for texture. Onward, we will use the term cohesive tie in place of tie. Cohesion. If you talk about cohesion, in bahasa is kepaduan. Semantic relation between one element in the text and some other elements that is crucial for its interpretation. Holiday and Hassan argued that the concept of cohesion is a semantic one. For them, it refers to relation of meaning that exists within text, gives the text texture, defines the text as text. For example, time flies, you can't, they fly too quickly. In here, you can is ellipsis. Avoid the repetition. They is referent. We say that it is cohesive with the previous mention of the referent in the text. They refers to time flies. And fly is lexical cohesion. Types of cohesion. There are two types of cohesion. There are grammatical cohesion and lexical cohesion. Grammatical cohesion, such as referent, substitution, and ellipsis. Whereas lexical cohesion, social situation, and they are constructed with a specific purpose. The meaning of a text is carried by the context. For example, can you tell me where to stay in Geneva? I have never been to the place. The distinction between grammatical cohesion and lexical cohesion is a matter of degree, and Holiday and Hassan suggested not to go in the depth of these overlapping areas, and that conjunction is on the borderline of the two types. Mainly it is grammatical, but with the lexical component, so we cannot clearly distinguish between the two types. The next explanation is about cohesion and the linguistic structure. Texture and structure. The relationship of texture to the structure of the text is texture is a condition for the creation and realization of textual structures. Structure is one means of expressing texture. Text consists of one sentence, are fairly rare, but they can be single sentences as well. For example, no smoking when the never chills. But most of the text extend beyond the confines of single sentences, so structure is important in a text as structural units, such as phrase, clause, and sentence, which express the unity of text. Cohesion within the text. Cohesion is semantic relation between one element in the text and some other element text is crucial for its interpretation. This other element must also be found within the text. Cohesion refers to the range of possibilities that exist for linking something with what has gone before. Cohesion refers to the many ways, grammatical, lexical, semantic, metrical, alliterative, in which the elements of a text are linked together. Cohesion differs from coherent, in that a text can be internally cohesive, but be incoherent, that is, make no sense. The place of cohesion in the linguistic system. Here you can see the table, the place of cohesion in the description of English functional components of semantic system. There are ideational, interpersonal, and textual. Ideational, such as experiential and logical, whereas textual, structural, and non-structural. Next is about reference that has been mentioned previously. The referent items must not match the grammatical item it refers to. What must match are the semantic properties of referent item in relation to the items it refers to. Referent, an act in which a speaker uses linguistic forms to enable the hearer to identify something. The speaker uses linguistic forms, known as referring expressions, to enable the hearer to identify the entity being referred to, which is in turn known as referent. You can see here is an example of reference. Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. He stepped in powder right up to his middle and never went there again. There are two referents, he and there. He refers back to Dr. Foster and there refers back to Gloucester.
Okay, I will continue the explanation about reference, and this explanation about subcategories reference. Reference can be categorized into two, namely exopora and endopora. And endopora is consist to type, namely anaphora and catapora. And the first, exopora. The exopora indicates situational reference. Anaphora signal that a reference must be made to the context of situation. That reference is called anaphoric reference because it is outside the text. In the PowerPoint, we can see the example of anaphora. The text for his jolly, a good fellow, and so say all of us. Think about not indicating who he is, but he can be recognized by the situation in which expression is used. They are not scores of cohesion because their presupposition cannot be resolved within the text, rather the presupposition is found outside the text. In other words, outside the text here are things that can be felt, not what is staged in the text. Okay, next one, endopora. Endopora is consist of types, namely anaphora and cataphora. First, anaphora or reference back. Anaphora links back to something that went before in the preceding text, and the second, cataphora or reference forward. Cataphora is the opposite. It links forward to a reference in the text that follows. Okay, the next topic about example of anaphora and cataphora from the dialogue we can see in the PowerPoint. The dialogue or text above is that one, referring to that liver, and this is called a cataphoric reference, and that liver referring to that one, and this is anaphoric reference. Okay, this is example of anaphora and cataphora. And the next topic about types of reference. There are three types of reference. First, personal reference. Second, demonstrative reference. And third, comparative reference. But before explain about type of reference, it is better first explain the structure of nominal group, then proceed toward a three type of reference. It is because we will analyze nominal group for cohesive analysis of this cohesive device. Okay, about a nominal group. Here it consists of head with optional modifier. The modifying elements include some which precede the head and some which follow it. They can be referred as pre-modifier and post-modifier respectively. And this slide about example nominal group. In the text, the two high stone wall along the roadside. This is our example of nominal group, which is wall is head and the two high stone is a pre-modifier, and along the roadside is post-modifier. Okay, the next about subcategories modifier. There are 6 types about subcategories modifier. First, dyadic. The dyadic element indicates whether or not some specific subset of the thing intended, and if so, which. And then the second, qualifier, and the next thing, and then classifier. The classifier indicates a particular subclass of the thing in question. For example, electric train, passenger train, toy train. And then numerative. A numerative element indicates some numerical feature of the particular subset of the things, either quantity or order, either exact or inexact. The quantifying numeratives or quantitative specify either an exact number or cardinal numeral, example to train, or an inexact number, example many train, lots of trains. And the last, the epithet. The epithet indicates some quality of the subset, example old, long, blue, fast. Since qualities are denoted by adjective. Epithets are often realized by adjective. Okay, the next about example of a nominal group. In the 4 point, we can see the sentence about example of nominal, and there is a deictic determiner, and famous is deictic and adjective, and out epithet and adjective, and read a classifier and adjective, and wine, I think, or no, or none. The next, we are talking about personal reference. The category of the person in the form of personal pronoun. This category includes the 3 classes of personal pronoun, and during the communication process, the speech roles are assigned to the first participant through the version system as the first speaker, and then address, and then it or one are used as a generalized form for other item. Okay, this is example of personal reference, like we can see in the 4 point, the text of example personal reference. Here in the above text or example, the use of personal pronoun is a sort of a personal reference. Yes, referring to he referring the buyer, one referring to a survey. And the next, if possessive pronouns are used, they give to more notion other than speaker and address. They are that of processor and process. Example, we can see in the PowerPoint that new house is John's. I didn't know it was his. In this example, processor is John, and process is house shown by the use of his and apostrophe s. In this PowerPoint, we can see about table the system of person for personal, essential, possessive reference. Okay, personal consists essential and possessive, and then semantic categories are head and modifier. And next, grammatical function consists noun or pronoun and determiner, and the class consists class noun, especially for noun or pronoun, and class of determiner. Okay, the next person is consists speaker, address with or without other person, speaker and other person, male other person, female other person, object, passage of the text, generalized person.
Okay, I will continue the discussion that was previously discussed by my friend. And in this occasion, I will explain about substitution. Substitution is a replacement of one linguistic item by another. Ellipsis is also a kind of substitution where one linguistic item is replaced by nothing or zero. Therefore, it is an omission of an item. When we talk about replacement of one item by another, we mean replacement of one word or phrase with another word or phrase. We can say substitution is a relation of lexicogrammatically level. It is used to avoid repetition of a particular item. But while locating cohesion through substitution, semantic is involved. For the example, my ex is too blunt, I must get a sharp one. You know John already knows. I think everybody does. Okay, next, there are three types of substitution. The first one is nominal substitution, second is verbal substitution, and the third is clausal substitution. The first one is nominal substitution. Even in this nominal substitution, there's three types. The first one is one, second once, and same. The nominal substitute one or once. The substitute one or once always function as head of a nominal group and can substitute only for an item, which is itself head a nominal group. For the example, I have heard some strange stories in my time, but this one was perhaps the strangest one of all. As you can see in the note on the table. And then the second is the nominal substitute same. The nominal substitute same typically accompanied by the presuppose an entire nominal group. For the example, A. I'll have 2 poached eggs on toast, please. B. I'll have the same. The same can have following expression as say the same, do the same, or be the same. Okay, let's jump to the second types. Second types is verbal substitution. The verbal substitute is do. This operates as head of a verbal group. Lexical verb is replaced by do, and its position is on the final in the group. As you can see on the table, example from Alice. The words did not come the same as they used to do. It can also substitute for a verb plus certain other elements in the clause. Example, I don't know the meaning of half those language words, and what's more, I don't believe you do either. And then the last is clausal substitution. Here presuppose is not an element within the clause but an entire clause. For example, is there going to be an earthquake? It says so. There are three types of clausal substitute. The first types of clausal substitute is substitution of reported clause, that is substitute by so or not is always declarative whatever the mode of the presupposed clause is, whether interrogative or imperative. For example, has everyone gone home? I hope not. And the second is substitution of conditional clause. Conditional clause are also substituted by so and not, especially following if or assuming so or suppose so and etc. For example, everyone seems to think he's guilty. If so, no doubt he'll offer to resign. And the last type is substitution of modalized clause. So and not also occur substitute for clauses expressing modality. Example, may I give you a slice? She said certainly not, the Red Queen said. Okay, that's all our presentation today. Thank you for your attention and we apologize for our mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.